Hey, this is Alex with Grow How, and this is a continuing series for Utah gardeners. Um, in Utah, we're unlike a lot of the parts of the country. We require additional water. We require some sort of irrigation, some sort of sprinkling system um, to make most of the things we want to grow. If you go to the Pacific Northwest, yeah, you don't need that. Go down to Georgia. The only time I really watered down there is when I had something new I planted. I didn't need to do a lot of other stuff. Um, Northeast, same thing. I mean, you just don't really need to have an irrigation system. And while it may help you on your lawn, you probably don't need it for everything else. But here in Utah, if you want a lawn, you gotta have an irrigation system. If you want a vegetable garden, you gotta have an irrigation system. If you want to, have some trees and shrubs, you're almost certainly gonna need an irrigation system. If you want to do natives, you don't necessarily need an irrigation system, but it may still be helpful. So one thing I find out with this is I see a lot of people asking questions on Facebook. What's wrong with this plant? What's wrong with my lawn? What's wrong with my garden? Why does this plant look like this? And 90% of the time, my first reaction is, what's your watering schedule? How are you watering? Is it getting enough water? Is it getting too little water? Now, for each plant in each situation, how much is too little and how much is too much is going to be variable. That does depend a lot on the soil. And so what we have to do is evaluate what we've already got going on, and then we can work from there. And in this case, the things I'm going to look for is, how are you watering? Is it spray heads? Is it rotor heads? Is it mini rotors? Is it drip? Are you furrow watering? Are you watering with a hose end drag sprinkler? Do you have straw bubblers? Those still exist out there. How are you getting water to this plant? And then after that, it's how often. You get it once a week, once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day. By the way, the 2 and 3 times a day, even the once a day, is the wrong answer unless you just planted turf, just so you know. So how frequent is a really big issue. And then it's how long are you applying whatever water you've got. Are you applying it for 3 minutes once a day? Are you applying it for 20 minutes 3 times a week? Again, what kind of sprays or what application method you're using does make a big difference. Also, if you're doing drip, I should throw this in, gallons per hour, not gallons per minute, because drip doesn't do gallons per minute. But gallons per hour is actually a really important factor that you need to look at, and you need to make that clear if you know it. If you don't know it, then you're already a handicap. So we've got how often, how long you're doing it, what you're using to apply it, and then there are some other things. Do you have a hill? Do you have, if this is like a raised bed or a bed along a retaining wall, those can affect what's happening. Those will dry out quicker. And so you have to look at all this information, and then you have to make your best estimate. I can already say that if you're watering almost every day, you're watering too frequently. I can also say if you're watering for 3 minutes on any system, you're probably watering too frequently. There's some variability on that one. These are all important things. Now, the things that this can lead to is not obviously just, my lawn's dry. Well, you got brown spots. Maybe it's bill bugs. Well, those bill bugs are going to do more damage if you've got a wet lawn. A dry lawn. If you've got the lawn that's the most stress susceptible to damage in the area, the bill bugs are going to find you. That same is true of aphids or any other pest. Diseases. Diseases are very common where it's really wet, but they're also fairly common where you water and then let it dry out too much, then you're not keeping it consistent enough. Other issues you can have, overheating and those areas that are raised. Yeah, that's going to be directly related to water. But again, so many of these other things are affected. People are, brown edges on their plants. It's not always necessarily bad watering. or inappropriate watering, but a lot of times it is. Plants drooping, overwater, underwater, a good portion of the time. Just the list goes on and on and on and on and on of ways this affects you. So keep an eye on that water. Understand, and I'm going to repeat this again, how often do you water? How long do you water? What is your system supposed to be doing? Those make a huge difference. And then also, so often I say, well, what's your watering schedule? It gets water. Okay. Or another answer is, oh, well, the system works. Okay. Just because you turn it on and you see water doesn't mean the system's working. There are things that can go wrong. One of the big ones is spray heads will I'm on secondary water here. My water at certain points of the year comes out brown. I mean brown. If I were to use my inside water, I can build up water deposits in a week. I mean this is hard water here, and the irrigation water is not as hard, but it's dirty. Those things will plug up filters. They'll plug up sprinkler heads. They'll plug up valves. I've had to clean, not here, but at a friend's house, I've had to clean off the valves in his irrigation system because they were just dirty. Rocks can get caught in a valve in a sprinkler, and that can cause problems. You can have pressure problems with the issue. That used to happen a lot out in Lehigh. There are a lot of variabilities. And so you need to add to the fourth thing to that is the system I've got installed working the way it's supposed to? And I suppose there's a fifth thing on there is this system designed well? If the system's not designed well, you're going to have brown spots. If the system's broken, you're going to have brown spots. If you have a design or a system issue, you're going to weaken plants in certain areas and not others. Another common thing is, oh, well, the plants right next to it are doing fine. Yeah, they are. That's fine. That doesn't mean that your irrigation system is working. In fact, that's one of the signs that it's not working is, oh, I've got this plant here, it's not doing well. I've got this plant over here, it's doing fine. A lot of times it's just you've got sprayers or rotors or something, and the plant that's closer is blocking them. It's getting all the water because the spray hits it and falls down and waters that plant, doesn't water the next one. Again, a lot of issues. So, now we're up to 5 or 6 different things to look at on water. And so when you go out and you look at these irrigation systems, don't take the easy cop out. Oh, yeah, it works fine. You've got to look at them. You've got to interact with them. You've got to make sure that they're doing what they're designed to do, that they're designed properly, and that they're set properly. Again, if you're watering once a week, unless you've just put in turf, you're watering too frequently. If you're watering multiple times a day, and you installed your turf 3 weeks ago, or a month ago, or 3 months ago, or 3 years ago, I've seen that happen. Then you're not doing the watering job you need. And we'll get into more of this on a different interaction about how to develop strong roots. Again, another video. I have enough to keep me busy for decades. If you have any questions, well, that's what the comments below are for. I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. It'll make sure that you get recommendations from YouTube on your YouTube homepage. And if you have anything you would like me to comment on, if you'd like some more information on, again, put it in the comments. That's what they're for, and I pay attention. I'm a small enough channel I can really bring this to the needs of literally everyone who's watching. If I get 168 comments per video, I can still track that. Don't do it gratuitously, but I'm there. And I'm building up a list of things that I want to do for you, so keep that in mind. Interactivity is good here because I would like to meet your needs. So anyway, thank you again. Please subscribe below. Use the comments. And thanks for coming along for the ride. Manana.